Good evening. I'm Lisa Wright Jenkins, the President and CEO of the Council on Aging Southern California, and I'm delighted you've joined us virtually tonight for our 2020 Aging is Art reception. For many of you, this may be the first time with us, and for others, you've joined us annually for the last 6 years. Every year, Aging is Art is unique, evoking different emotions and perspectives, and 2020 is no different despite the pandemic. Many of us have our own story to tell about life during COVID-19. Some of our photographers have chosen to express their story through their photography. Others have shared beautiful photographs and scenarios that resonate with them as they observe our world and the aging experience. I wish we were enjoying this evening together at the Bowers Museum, which is simply beautiful. It's a true gem here in the center of Orange County. It's absolutely one of my favorite museums to visit in the world, but COVID-19 has impacted public access. However, the good news is the 2020 Aging is Art show will be at the Bowers in the spring from March 16th to March 30th. I'm particularly grateful to Peter Keller, the president of the Bowers Museum, and his team for their partnership in continuing to host the Aging is Art show annually. For those of you that might be not so familiar with the Council on Aging Southern California, we're a nonprofit organization based in Orange County in the city of Irvine, and our service area encompasses a 5-county area. We're celebrating our 47th year of serving older adults, their families, and caregivers with an incredible team of 90 staff members and over 400 volunteers, many of which are retirees themselves. We have an array of programs that help seniors remain healthy, connected, and protected. And most of our programs and services are free to the community. And we've just added a new fee-based program called Concierge Care Navigators. That's an affordable solution to help families care for aging parents or loved ones. We serve over 240,000 seniors annually, and this year our entire team is operating virtually throughout our service area. We're funded by individuals, foundations, government grants, and corporations. And I'm particularly proud to say that 88% of every dollar that we spend supports our programs and services. Aging as Art is possible because of the unwavering support of our board of directors who have generously underwritten the prize package for tonight's winning photographers. Please join me in thanking them virtually. Hooray! We embarked upon Aging as Art 6 years ago, enlisting the photographic expertise and guidance from our distinguished panel of jurors. They have guided us since the inception of the show and encouraged us to expand to a national competition starting back in 2019. And as a result, we've received more submissions than ever before. I'd like you to join me in thanking our distinguished panel of jurors. Michelle Cardin is the director of photography from the Orange County Register. There's the wonderful Jacques Garnier, the professional photographer. Laurel Hungerford, also a tremendous professional photographer. And the special Lori Merman, she's the president of Site Services and an amateur photographer. And the wonderful Barbara White, she was our first juror. She jumped on the journey with us back in 2016, and she's also a professional photographer. Let's give them all a round of applause. I'd like to also acknowledge the work of every photographer that's displayed this year in Aging is Art. We're so grateful for the time and care you took in taking these photographs and then submitting them to us for review by our panel of jurors. I must say, your photographs are breathtaking. I'm delighted to announce that a specially curated collection of 65 Aging is Art photographs are currently on display at the John Wayne Airport in the Vi Smith Concourse Gallery, and it'll continue through March of 2021. They can be viewed in terminals A and C and will be seen by over 1 million travelers. Also, the entire collection of Aging is Art is on display at the Newport Beach Central Library, another fabulous partner of ours, and they will be there through November 20th before moving to the Bowers Museum in the spring. Aging is Art showcases the beauty in aging. In an era where the media focuses on youth and slowing or stopping the aging process, the photographs on display tonight capture the beauty in crinkly skin, age spots, jowls, gray hair, crow's feet, lip lines, and skin that jiggles. We welcome all that aging brings, including the effects of gravity. So every wrinkle and every jiggle are all welcome here. Today, with digital photography, everyone can be a photographer, so millions of photographs are uploaded every minute. And correspondingly, everyone can be a subject. Yet what great photographs do is capture a story. A photograph can alter perceptions, transport us to other places, and at best, change lives. Skilled photographers take time in talking with their subjects, hearing their stories, and striving to capture that story, not with a manipulated shot, but by the sharing of two souls on either side of the lens. It was once said that a photograph is never taken, rather, it's always given. That concept is seen in the photographs on display here tonight. We are so proud that again this year, Aging is Art captures not only the beauty in aging, but the dignity, the joy, and also sometimes difficult realities of aging. This evening, we have the unique opportunity to meet some of the winning photographers and hear their stories about their work. Let's get on to recognizing the winners of Aging is Art 2020. I'll begin with the professional category. The winners in the professional category are, in first place, Rosanna Berbian for Fit and Consistent. So Rosanna, could you tell us a little bit about this photograph? There she is. Hi, Rosanna.
I'm happy to introduce myself. My name is Rosanna Barbarian. I'm an artist, photographer, and also a teacher. I teach in local schools. And I took this shot in Yerevan, Armenia, when I was visiting last year. And this is a candid shot of a gentleman who I was told has been consistently swimming in this artificial lake since the 80s. So I was really intrigued by his perseverance and wanted to capture him. And the park is located in a section in Armenia when it's called Victory Park. It was made after the Sovietization of Soviet Armenia in 1950s. And many veterans gather there and then they hang out in the morning, they walk together and exercise. So the construction of lake started in 1961 and it's called Lake Arevik, which is incidentally mean little sun. And I like the way the sun is illuminating his head and reflecting on the water as if symbolically connecting this man to this water. And the water is not, this lake is not meant to be swimming, but he's there every day. And I'm really, really impressed by his perseverance.
It's a really spectacular photograph. Congratulations on winning first
Yeah.
place. And then I'd like to move on to second place, and that goes to Veronica Gray for her photograph entitled Roberto. Veronica, could you tell us about this beautiful photograph?
Thank you, Lisa. Hi, everybody. And first, I want to thank all the jurors for including this photograph of Roberto in the selection. And I'm truly honored to be included in this group of wonderful photographers. Full disclosure, Roberto is my husband. I have never published before a photograph of family. I'm very private and I love to take pictures of other people. So the story behind this photograph, it was June, July, and I was taking a Zoom photo workshop, which is called Using Your Life to Launch Your Photography During COVID. And there were assignments every week, and I was having the most difficult time photographing my life in my house. There's only so many dog pictures or window pictures you can take, and I just didn't feel the passion. And very early one morning, I get up early to use the very low light to take still lifes without just using natural light coming in. And I was just about finished, and my husband walks out of the bedroom upstairs, leans over the balcony railing and says, Veronica, what are you doing up so early? And I looked up and I said, stop, don't move, let me get my tripod. And this is just the natural early morning light. And he just had barely woken up. And then the rest of the course became easy because I just constantly shadowed Robert in more intimate moments because the focus of the workshop was to create a portfolio where all the photos were supposed to all blend and work together. So the course became easy. And the things that I'm really learning because of COVID is really seeing the world of photography in a very different way. The normal things we see can be a fantastic picture. And instead of going out expecting what to shoot, go out and get the unexpected. So that's the story.
Well, thank you. What a fantastic story. Thank you so much, Veronica. That's lovely. Okay, now let's move on to third place. We have Jari Pulin for Ascension. Jari, this is a very interesting photograph. Tell us about the story behind this one.
Okay, I will. And again, thank you to your organization. I love your mission. What you're accomplishing is just so amazing.
Thank you.
You have one of the nicest mission statements I've ever seen. It's short and you can memorize it, and it says everything. And I'd also like to thank the jurors for including me. It's really an honor. This image is part of a series called Dance Memory that I did several years ago. And this image actually hangs over my desk because it means so much to me. So I was working with a group of 23 dancers of all ages, from age 8 to into their 70s for this project, and all were dancers. And we worked with improvisations. This particular image was built around an improvisation of these two women. First of all, one is a retired dance instructor at Cornell University. The other is the retired dance chair at Wells College. And they had always wanted to work together, and they never had a chance. So we did this improv, and it was about two sisters who have been separated at an early age finding each other. And one of the women had recently lost her husband. So it was also a very tender, sorrowful time. And this improv they did was bone-chillingly beautiful. But it showed so much care for each other and sensitivity and love. And I called it ascension because it was like trying to lift each other up to another plane of healing. And as I said, it's over my desk. And every time I look at it, I kind of get tears in my eyes because it was so moving to watch it.
Oh, that's a beautiful story. It's the stories that really set these photographs apart. So thank you for sharing that.
Sure, thank you.
Oh, so let's move on to honorable mention. We have a special photographer named Pedro Oliveira. Pedro has placed in every category at Aging is Art since 2016, and he just shares with us beautiful photographs every year. He swept the honorable mention category this year with 2 lovely photographs. And so Pedro, tell us about this first photograph called Caged.
Hello, everyone. This is Pedro. Before saying anything, I've been coming every year since 2016 to this award, and every single year I get impressed and shocked by the quality of work that you guys share here. So thank you very much for putting it out together. And this year, it's particularly special because I just realized that 3 females got the 3 first places. So good for you. Yes, about Cage, this is a part of a project that was published by Vanity Fair Italy. It covers couples over 60s during the coronavirus lockdown, the first 3 months that we are still trying to figure out what was what. And while my generation and younger people were actually freaking out about all of it, I found that older couples actually were quite peaceful on the process. They took the lemons and made a huge lemonade. And what I heard the most reported is they now had more time to do what they were always planning on doing, taking care of their gardens or spending more time with family and spending more time with the 2 of them. Caged it was the main picture. It's a couple in Oregon. And so I covered this entire thing for about 2 weeks. 9 couples, the name of the project is 9 Under the 19. And this is the cover of the project.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much. Now let's talk about your second photograph that won honorable mention. It's entitled Broken. Tell us about this photograph.
Well, surprisingly or not surprisingly, most of my good friends are much older than I am. And Broken is not Broken. This is Broken is part of a project called Beyond the 60th Sense, on which for 2 years I photographed females over 60s, and hearing hot topics such as abortion and work payment equality and body empowerment. And Broken was actually different from the most of the sessions that I had, most of the encounters that I had. This portrait, it's a genuine expression. She was not posing for me. And she had told me about the struggle of aging and how, in her case, things got harder in the sense that, people would not look past her body. And she felt really, really resentful and broken. And this is the result of in-between posing sessions. And in my opinion, turned out better than any of the posed shots that I got. And that's the result.
Well, you really have captured a very special moment here. It's a beautiful photograph. Thank you so much. Let's give our professional photographers a round of applause. Hooray! Great job. Really, hats off to all of you. And now let's move on to the winners in our amateur category. In first place, the winner is Maria Budner for Looking Back. And Maria's here with us tonight. Can you share with us, Maria, about this particular photograph?
Sure, Lisa. Hi, and like everybody else, I really do want to say I feel honored to be part of this group of incredible photographers, and thank you to the judges and to you. So this is a self-portrait. Being over 60 myself, I decided I wanted to deal with a series of self-portraits dealing with the concept of aging. And this one is called Looking Back. And what I'm trying to do here is capture that feeling of nostalgia, maybe longing, maybe a little bit of sadness when you focus on what's no longer in reach. And I was using cracked glass and I was using sepia to give it that sense of this is something that is kind of inaccessible now, and also that the vision in relation to the past is a little blurred. And yeah, so that's, it's kind of a pondering what is lost. That's what I was going for in this particular photograph. So it's different than the others because it's a setup and it's a self-portrait.
Well, it's really a beautiful photograph, and it really makes the viewer pause and consider what might be happening there. So really lovely. Thank you so much for sharing that and sharing the story.
Thank you.
Let's move on to second place to Stephanie Solomon. Stephanie also is sharing a photograph during the pandemic. It's called Alone Together in the Pandemic. Stephanie, we'd love to hear from you about this photograph.
Thank you very much. And like everyone else, it's marvelous to be here and be part of this show. As a gerontologist, especially, I'm very moved by everything that I see here and the work that you're doing. This was an unusual photograph for me because I usually do street photography. And this was a moment in the home with my husband. This is a self-portrait of us as a couple during this pandemic. It's called Alone Together in the Pandemic. And we were talking about what it meant to be alone together in the pandemic. The loneliness, the isolation, the comforting that we were able to give to one another, how we missed friends and family, how we missed people who we couldn't see, who were in nursing homes who needed us, or those who were in senior centers that we couldn't visit because we couldn't come in and out, what was happening economically to family members and others, and just what was happening in this nation. So it was a very moving moment. And I noticed that the cell phone, the iPhone, was on the cocktail table in front of me. And I picked it up and started to take the pictures, in some sense wanting to memorialize this time, this kind of dire time, this loving time, this hopeful time, this fearful time. And I created a set of images.
This is just really beautiful. And it does, reflect on just when the pandemic started and how we were all thinking, what's going to happen? What's next? And it certainly gave us all a time and an opportunity to reflect on what the future might hold. So thank you so much, Stephanie, for sharing this with us. And I love the fact that you're a gerontologist. Way to go. Okay, next, we for third place, we have all the way from Atlanta, David Clifton Strawn for Portrait of Mindy Dawn Friedman. So David, we'd love to hear from you about this photograph.
Oh, well, good afternoon or evening. And I'd like to thank the Council on Aging and also the jurors for the show for including this portrait of Don Friedman and Mindy Don Freeman in your show. It's really an honor to be included here with so many wonderful other photographers. This particular image is from an ongoing portrait series that I'm currently working on called Simple, Complex, Obvious, and Profound, which is a portrait project photographing different groups of people here in Atlanta. And this particular image is from a series of portraits that are on social activists, people that are who have specific causes they're advocating for in Atlanta. And Mindy is what she refers to herself as a visual activist for the LGBTQIA+ community. Mindy and I met, we go to the same barbershop, and we just happened to meet in there one day. And we kind of fell in love with each other and just started talking, and I started learning more about what she was doing and asked her if she'd be willing to come to the studio. And she has this incredible wardrobe, which this particular portrait kind of hints at that. But I had her bring 7 or 8 costumes with her, the different things that she wears during the day. And we were basically playing with those as part of this portrait project that we were doing. But in between shoots or in between setups, we were sitting and we were talking about the work that she does and the trans people that are close to her in her life and what's motivating her to do this work. And as she was talking about it, I started photographing her. And this image is actually a between setup shot of her and I just talking. And when I was finished with the session, this was the image that spoke so strongly to me about who she was. I felt like looking at this image, I could just look right into her soul and how big her heart was, which is why I included it in my submission. I really just adore this photograph of her and the work that she does.
Well, she certainly does wear some beautiful eye-catching clothes. I'm sure that starts a lot of conversations out
Yes,
in Atlanta. So thank you so much for sharing that story. It's fantastic. And let's move on now to our next honorable mention, and that is to Jose Lebron Maldonado for A Beautiful Day. And this is a captivating photograph. And unfortunately, Jose is not able to be with us here this evening, but he did send along some information about this. So let's just pause and look at this for just a moment and think what you think this photograph means. Because Jose tells us that this image was taken just a few months before his grandmother became blind and bedridden. She wanted to feel the ocean on her feet just one more time. And he said it was a beautiful day indeed. And I think that definitely encompasses what was happening that day. A beautiful day to feel the ocean on your feet one more time. So thank you to Jose Lebron Maldonado for that. And our final honorable mention goes to Madhushanka. And I am not even going to attempt to say Madhushanka's middle and last names. But I will say the beautiful name that she's attributed to this photograph called Cradle of Love. And she's unable to be with us here this evening, but she did provide some background on this photograph. So let me share that with you. She said, this photograph is of a grandmother, my grandmother, acting as a physiotherapist. And this is a custom that's been passed from generation to generation in our Sri Lankan culture. When a newborn is at least 1 month old, massages are given to the forehead, nose, and ears. And sometimes the massages include legs so that they stay in good shape. This custom will enrich generations to come, binding the society together with traditions of love and peace. Just a beautiful photograph. Look at those hands. Now there's been a lot of life that's been experienced through those hands. So I'd like to say congratulations to all our winning photographers who have shared these beautiful images of older adults through what we've seen tonight and what we have in our entire show. I'd like to extend an extra special thanks to you for sharing your stories with us. It's the story behind the photograph that helps to elevate it to another level, drawing the viewer in. Thank you so much for engaging us, inspiring us, and sharing your creativity this evening. Let's give all the winners a round of applause. Thank you so much. I love these virtual applauses. I'm applauding with myself, but I hope you all are applauding at home. So now I'd like to introduce to you Ryan Fernando. He's our Development Database Administrator. Ryan led Aging is Art 2020 this year, and he will share more about our online exhibition that we'd like to share with you that includes over 90 photographs. And Ryan, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Lisa, and hello, everyone. Last year, we turned Aging is Art into a national competition, but the only way to see the photos was to go to an exhibit here in Southern California. So earlier this year, we launched our Aging is Art Instagram account to share photos of past submissions. And we also added an online gallery where we're listing photographs of the winning photographers. If you visit our Aging is Art page at coasc.org/agingisart, we're now happy to share an online gallery of the top 90 jury selected photos. I've circled the link and you'll find on the Aging is Art homepage right now. So now we're looking at a quick view of what the gallery looks like. And in case you're looking for specific photos, we've listed them in alphabetical order by photographer name. So now I have a message for you photographers. With a closer look, you'll see we've added a link to your website and if you submitted it, and I've included a link to your Instagram account if I've been able to find it. If you have your website or Instagram added or removed, please email me at rfernando@coasc.org. With that, I'll pass it back to Lisa. Looks like
Thank you so much,
just went off.
You've done a wonderful job in curating these photographs and displaying them on our website. You know, at the Council on Aging, we see the wonders of aging every day. And we also see that aging should not be dreaded or denied, but rather it's an important part of life to be embraced. It's about adapting as we age and living longer and thriving longer. It's about engagement, enrichment, and joy. And it's best enjoyed by planning for aging, much like we plan for so much else in our lives. You know, we plan to get an education, get married maybe, plan a family, plan to buy a house, buy a car. But how much time have you actually spent planning for your own aging experience? Chances are it's probably less time than you've spent planning your last vacation. So I'd like to urge you to take some time to think about your plan for aging and how you can make it the experience that's captured in many of these photographs. And for sure, break out your camera because we'd like to see your photographs in Aging is Art next year as we expand onto the international stage. That's right, Aging is Art 2021 will accept photographer submissions from around the world beginning at the end of February 2021. So I'd like to thank you so much for joining us at this special celebration this evening and to the photographers who have shared their stories with us and for all of the others who have shared beautiful submissions with us. And so wherever you are tonight, enjoy your favorite beverage, visit our website and decide which of the photographs resonate with you at our online 2020 exhibit at coasc.org. And check out our website. You'll learn more about what we do and help seniors remain healthy, connected, and protect you. So thank you so much. Have a lovely evening and thanks for joining us. Good night.